So what is the difference between shears that are designed for dog groomers to cut dog hair and shears that are designed for stylists and barbers to cut human hair? Let's find out. I go to a lot of hair shows, but I don't go to many shows for the pet industry. So I thought the best place to check out the answer to this question is to go to one of the largest international pet expos in the world. And I was down in Orlando at the Pet Expo. I decided to go look for the shear companies that were making shears for the dogs and for pet grooming. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I saw a lot of really cool things. But it was very limited, the number of companies that had scissors for groomers. Even the companies that normally carry shears didn't have many, and no one that knew anything about the shears. We only found a few companies that actually specialized in shears, but this was also at the beginning of the pandemic, and none of the flights for China were allowed in. So there were a few companies that we were not able to speak to.
That I'm a groomer, but I honestly am not sure of the difference between grooming shears and human cutting shears, other than I have been told that maybe there's a different edge on them or a different type of metal, but I honestly don't know the difference.
Now you said your sharpener doesn't
He doesn't like to do human shears, no. He says that he likes to stick with the grooming shears. Why that is, I don't know.
Does he do the clipper blades too?
Yes.
Now, I liked your answer, and you said you didn't know for sure, but you said you talked to some groomers and what they told you. Tell me.
I'm about to be exposed.
Close it.
Pretty much, I've talked to different groomers, and the majority of them, their answer is that for groomers, it's more lighter. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but that's pretty much what I get.
Would you agree? Maybe?
I can't say because I've not handled many human cutting shears to compare, but I know that weight is a big thing for grooming, and how the scissor sits in your hand is a big consideration for groomers when purchasing scissors. You don't want a real heavy scissor because it's going to wear your hand out by the end of the day. I would imagine the same would apply to a human hairdresser as well. But
Okay.
I'm clueless. I'd be interested to learn the difference as well.
This is our heaviest Bonika shear, BG10 steel. It feels heavy to a lot of stylists. And this one is only 2.6. So, in general, we can determine that your stylish shears are going to be, in fact, a lot lighter than grooming shears.
What is the difference between dog grooming scissors and beauty shears?
All right.
Is there really a difference?
There's actually a big, huge difference.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So the beauty shears.
I'm going to get you to explain if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So beauty shears are going to be a convex edge, very convex, and you can do slide cutting, and they're very lightweight, small shears. They're usually made out of a very, very high quality steel with a high Rockwell. Because human hair is actually a little bit stronger than dog hair, believe it or not. It's very, very tough stuff. But for dogs, you're going to have the lengths are going to be a lot bigger because there's so much hair for the dogs. There's going to be lots of different variations of chunkers and blenders for dog grooming also. The edges most likely are going to be more of a beveled edge, so you can get through just more hair, and they're going to have a micro serration on the blades. So that's going to be the little teeth that are on the blade, and it really grips the hair so it doesn't move out of the way.
Okay, here's my questions. We're finding a lot of dog groomers have high-end convex edge shears.
Okay.
Because we're sharpening.
Okay.
What are the difference between those?
That would be more of a competition and a finishing. So after they would use something like this to get the dog's coat down, and they want to go over it and just make the coat crazy beautiful. I mean, those are very expensive.
So that would be the finishing shear.
Yes, very.
So if if someone is sharpening grooming scissors, they would also need the ability and the capability of doing the high-end finishing shears, or their business is limited. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of sharpeners around the country, they do get convex edge shears, and they will put a beveled edge on it. So a lot of them don't know, and they just make it sharp. Yeah, that's all they use.
Now, we're finding a lot of the hairstylists now are using and asking for the long shears, especially the long curves.
Really?
Yeah, that's the new
Like beauty.
the new thing.
Wow, I know barbers do it.
Yeah, no, it's a new thing.
Wow.
So a high-end finishing dog grooming shear would be equivalent to a beauty shear,
Yeah,
correct?
That would pretty
And
much
they should
our
be sharpened the same way.
Yes.
So the difference is going to be in the low end stuff.
Are a dog grooming shear, but they are very popular with mostly any barber shop. In about the 8.5 inch, the 10-inch ones. And this way they can get around the hair. Like if there's like an afro or they're doing something, they can go get it real nice and smooth. And this can really get it done for them. They're strong enough, and the holes are big enough for men. That's one big thing for men, is that all the little tiny hair shears out there, they can't get their fingers in them. So these and some of our older models have bigger finger holes for the barbers. So that would be.
But in general, is the steel is good?
Oh yes. The steel
Oh, it is.
amazing.
Okay.
Yes, these are Japanese cobalt.
Okay.
So very, very high quality steel. Barbers probably need it sharpened once or twice a year, depending on how much they cut.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Thank you.
ma'am.
And here's the $1 million question, Sammy. What is the difference between dog grooming shears and shears designed for cutting human hair?
So the main difference is going to be the size and the type of edges. Most hair shear is going to be convex edge. On the grooming side, you know, depending on what kind of application you're using them for, you can have bevel edges, you know, serrated edges, semi-convex edge, convex edge for finishing, and also the other difference is going to be the size. Most beauty shears is going to be, you know, between 5 and 7 inch. Most grooming shears start at 7 inch and they go up to 10 inch. Plus, you have a lot of curves in the grooming industry.
Okay, now, question. If someone was sharpening primarily for the groomers, would they need to know how to sharpen convex edges?
Definitely, because in this, you know, new era of shears, even in our line, we make a lot of them with convex edge and semi-convex edge. So they got to have a flat home. Cannot be done on just the wheel.
What about angles?
Yeah, angles, yeah, they matter. Just like the beauty shears, they got to learn how to properly sharpen a long convex shears.
And they'll be at as sharp of an angle as a beauty shear, correct?
Yes, they can be as sharp of an angle, just like the beauty shears. Yeah.
Okay, you answered what I would answer, but I wanted to get it from someone that has both. So let me take some.
Yeah.
So what's your most expensive grooming shear you have here, Sammy?
We have these Kaizens, they're about $450. The Piranhas, they're about $400.
And the groomers do buy these expensive shears and do get them sharpened, right?
Correct. Yep. Every shear is, you know, no matter what the steel is, they have to be sharpened.
Yep. So, our journey to look for the difference between hair cutting shears and dog grooming scissors took us right back where we thought. Your dog grooming scissors are going to be cheaper and they may be more expensive. The more expensive ones need to be sharpened the same way beauty shears. And if you don't have the right equipment for that, you're going to mess up the finishing shears.